My feet all day, one half pandemic and one half poet still publishing poems and winning prizes. I spent most of it, though, on The Guardian, reading the virus updates, then watched the local news. I teared up when I saw people saying that the sick on the cruise ship should not be allowed to disembark at Oakland. I wept again, this time from relief, when I saw someone else then say that it was terrible to say that. These days, one thing after another closes. The market crashes once again. I made a joke about don't 7% me because I lived through 22.3% in 1987. I remember that day so clearly. My boyfriend of that time brought me the newspaper in bed with a cup of tea. I must have slept late because the sun was streaming in the room outside our bedroom full of light, and he said things are different, and I believed him. I still believe that things could be different. I was young. I was so ready for it. He wasn't. Still, I was. But there was no revolution, no reconfiguration. We went on, some of us somewhat poorer, the some of us that had money. I didn't then. So I got up that day and drank my tea and appreciated the sun, and a version of that has happened every day since that day, including today. After the feed wore me down, after the TV news too, the sun set and I sat in the backyard. It is spring, and the sweet, heavy smell of the Victorian box went over the yard and deep into my mucous membranes, perhaps mixing there with a virus that I may or may not have, that may or may not have found its way to me through the coughs of bats. Spring is coming, and it rained a few days ago. It felt perfect in so many ways. I could hear the neighbors, and something about that always reminds me about how I am not necessarily alone, the comfort in that. A child cried a little. A dog was being trained. No, someone said to it, no. And I was with them, floating with them, whether they liked it or not, all of us more than 6 feet apart. In the backyard, I read a poem on my phone that Jasper had written about Sean. It had a metaphor about fires on the floor of the ocean. That, I thought, must be a volcano. But then the poem moved next to a poet's wound, and I didn't know what a poet's wound was, except I knew Sean had been in pain. This moment I had texted to Andrew earlier. It will not overturn things like the plague did, not enough death, but it will break our hearts. And the next month is going to be crazy. Little did I know I meant a year. Later, I looked up how to make your own ventilator on the web. I texted the link to Stephanie, wrote next, it looks possible, but a little next level. Then a few minutes later typed, intubation is not just impossible to do, it is terrible too. She texted me back an article on sleep apnea machines. In the dark from the backyard, I looked through the window into the house and a child was being taught how to math. And then I thought, I can't bear to lose even a single one of you. And I meant not just my family. That was my son learning how to math. But I meant not just my friends, but all of you on that cruise ship and all of you who were not allowed off today because you are not from the UK or the US. I don't know what became of you. The news didn't tell me, as it showed me the ship pulling out apart with no known destination. Look, I want to say to all of you, there is no nation. It's not a real thing. Don't let them tell you it is. Don't let anyone pretend it is. The news ignored me, kept showing the ship in a time of the sun setting, and the colors that came from that moment were beautiful, as if nothing could stop beauty.